Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time frame you are watching. My name is Stephanie. Welcome to the KetoMom page, and we are going to talk about systems. So if you've ever heard me say the phrase, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Systems are super important, they're super powerful. Oftentimes we might think that, we say the choices that you make throughout the day are super important, to be mindful, to have an awareness. But if you don't have systems in place to get you to where you want to go, then you fall to the level of the systems that you actually have in place, regardless if you put them there. So this is the book that I'm reading from. I'm just randomly picking books and things that I feel like would help you. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? And before we dive into this, I just got off the phone with my sister. One of my sisters lives in Ohio. We talk every morning. She's so great. And have you guys ever, so this is random, totally off the topic of systems. We'll get to that in just a second. So tell me, here's a fun question of the day as you are tuning in. If you're brand new, post new below. I would love to get to know you. And this page has been around for 7 years, longer than 7 years. And you will find lots of different things here on the KetoMom page. So if you ever need recipes, how-tos, any past books that we've done, anything, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com. So here's the question of the day. I like to see and have you answer something. The question is, do you know your love language? Do you have something that you're like, if my spouse or my kids or my coworkers or my boss knew that this was my love language, it would speak to me. So nice to meet you. Hello, Robin. Robin is new. Hi, Trish. Good morning. Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, Christina. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Sheila. All right. It is a wonderful morning here. I will tell you my morning was mindful, which therefore sets up my day. We'll talk about that in a second, about systems. Good morning, Anthony. He lives right around the corner from us. One of my husband's very best friends. So let me ask you this. What is your love language? If you don't know what I'm talking about, my sister and I had a whole conversation about this conversation this morning. And it's if you've ever read the book, The Five Love Languages, it's an incredible book, and it will help you see people, your spouse and your kids, and serve them in a way that makes them feel loved. So for example, this is the question of the day. We're going to talk about systems in just a second. I actually read a great chapter this morning. It was a good reminder for myself, and I want to share it with you. Here's the question. What is your love language? It can be acts of service, and this means, like, for example, so the love languages are acts of service, quality time, gifts, physical touch, and words of affirmation. And what that means is there's things that speak to you. So if you're like, I really need words of affirmation. If somebody tells me I'm doing a good job or they encourage me, like I just long for people to just give me words of affirmation. That's your love language. Oftentimes you can figure out what your love language is by watching what you do for others. If you're constantly serving and giving of your time and like helping people do things, your love language might be acts of service. If you are constantly giving words of affirmation and encouraging people, your love language might be words of encouragement, right? Or if you're like a hugger, like there's certain people in our church that no matter what, I never was raised, we weren't like huggers. And I'm from the north, I live in Minnesota. When we moved down south, I had to just get used to everybody hugging me all the time. That wasn't something that was normal for me growing up. And so there are people in our church that I'm like, they're coming towards me, I'm going to get a big old hug. And I'm like, their love language is physical touch. Anyways, there's a really great book. It's called The Five Love Languages. If you want, it's really incredible. My sister and I decided we're going to talk about that on our family vacation next week. Anyways, I thought that was a great conversation. It would be fun to know, what is your love language? If you don't know, and you want to know what's powerful, is knowing what your kids' love languages are. All right, on a different conversation. we're going to talk about systems. And so you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I'm going to read some things to you. I hope it helps you in any way, shape, or form. Here's the book I'm reading from. It's by Dexter Yager. And the chapter is called Success is a System. What does that mean? He says, wherever I have been successful in my life, behind the success is a system. I create systems to create predictable results. So he says anything that he had success in life, there was a system behind why he got what he wanted, why he reached a goal, and why he is where he is today. He says everything I do it with an intended result in mind. And then I create a system to create an intended result. He says, I've learned that the more time that you have to take thinking about the same things over and over again, the more unproductive you are. So, all my life, he says, I've been devoted and developing and performing and perfecting systems to make me as productive as possible. So, I wrote down some ideas, but I'm gonna read a little bit to you, and then we'll talk about like what systems could look like in your life. If you are going after a goal, if there are things that you want in your life, I'm sure all of you are like, I would love to be successful in my relationships or my health journey or my finances or my work life or my parenting life. In any place in those areas that you have goals, you need systems to be successful in those areas, right? He says, excuse me, a system will make anything easier. Systems move you from a decision to an intended result in the most rapid possible way. He says, I have a system for almost everything, for where I put my keys, to how I buy, I wear, and I pick my clothes, and for how I bring people into my business, how to teach people, how to train people. He says, I have a system for how I spend my day. For example, so I wrote some things down as we're going through this, and I said, all right, so people want, you get up in the morning, you have a system for your morning, or you don't have a system, which therefore is a system to fail, right? You have a system for if you are working on your health and fitness, if you just hope to lose the 30 pounds, that hoping isn't enough. You need to have a system on how to get to where you want to go. Consistency is key. We talk about that a lot. Consistency in anything that you want to do. Anybody that has ever had any kind of success and keeps it has a system. A major part of the system is learning it. If you have a team or you want to develop a team, having a system of consistency is crucial for success. And the team could be your family. It could be the people that you work with, right? To really make that system multiply, you have to keep it simple. So there's a consistency aspect of the system that you're going to create and a simplicity aspect. What do you want? What are the goals that you want to achieve? And then we have to reverse engineer it and go, okay, I want to lose 30 pounds. What do I need to do consistently, and how do I keep it simple so that I can achieve that goal? I've got to have the systems that are consistent and simple to achieve that goal, right? If you find yourself in this hamster wheel of every single year, of every single month, of constantly going after a goal but not achieving it, then that means you've either made it too hard, or you're not doing it long enough, or the systems aren't working, or you don't actually have a system in place to get to where you want to go. If you don't have a system for, listen to this, this is great. If you don't have a system for success, you have a system for failure. That just means that you don't have a system at all, which therefore is a system of failure. If you don't have a system for success, you have a system for failure. He says, little hinges swing big doors. It's little, consistent, simple actions every day that you put into place that might not make it seem like a big deal on a day-to-day basis, but on a month and a couple months and a year, which is a big door that has little hinges, eventually you will get to where you want to go. All right, he says this. If you don't have a system for success, you have a system for failure. He says, here's a couple tips that he wrote down. So he gave a couple things to help you as you're creating systems. Number one, he says, learn what to do from the best. So finding mentors, finding people that have already done what you want to do, and then going and talking and learning from them. Learn how to do something the best that you can. Not perfect, but do things the best that you can. He says, number three, and then you have to do it. So first you're going to figure out what you want. Then you're going to find people that have already done it. You're going to learn from them. You're going to copy and emulate that system that's already worked. Then then you're going to learn it. You're going to do it the best that you can. You're going to do it. He says, and then he says, find 5 to 10 things that you can't, hold on a second. He says, you've got to find things, it's like your why. We've talked about your why. And he says, money shouldn't be a driving factor. Money shouldn't be a reason, because that often comes and goes. And he's like, oftentimes people have this like fixation of making a certain amount, which isn't a strong enough why. We could correlate it to your health. Okay. If your sole goal is to lose 30 pounds, but you don't have a strong enough why and you don't have the systems in place, you're not going to lose the weight. Let's just say that, right? Let's see, what else does he say? You've got to develop a system for setting goals and achieving them. Every time somebody, here's the deal. Anytime you're going after a goal, what happens? You might have people around you that try to pull you down, that try to frustrate you, that try to tell you, you can't do this, you will never amount to this. And he goes, every time somebody rejected him, every time somebody rejects you, your plan or your dreams or your visions, he says, I pictured myself as a supervisor over them in the future. He says, success is the best revenge. And then he said, I want you to treat those who laugh at you with respect and love. And knowing that you're going over goals and that you're going after the things that are on your heart, and that you've got to be okay with people that don't believe in you and the people that think that you're not going to achieve it. Because remember, you've got a goal, and then you're creating a system to get you to where you want to go with a simple and consistent action, regardless of what other people say. He says this, a great pleasure in life is doing what people say you can't do. Winners learn to live on that. When people tell me that I cannot do something, I think to myself, who died and made you king? How do you know more about me than I know about myself? When I let somebody else tell me that, I'm letting them make the decisions for me. Either way, winning or losing is our decision. The secret of happiness is not in doing what one likes, but in liking what one does. So many great little things. Okay, one last thing, and we're going to talk about creating systems. And if you get up in the morning and you're constantly running out the door, you find yourself running behind consistently, you find yourself wanting to do better, but falling to the trap of the fast food or the breaker, what's it called? When you put money, what's it called when you put money in and you get the snacks out, Annie? What? Vending machines. If you find yourself falling trapped to the vending machines and fast food, if you find yourself making excuses for going to the gym, if you find yourself always wanting to do these things, but not achieving them, there's a system glitch, which we have to fix, right? What, Annie? A food crave box?
That's what I call it.
Vending machine. All right. Here's a success system that works. First, know that success is a decision. So do you want success in any area of your life? What do you want success? Yes or no? First of all, you have to decide that. He says it has to become a commitment and then a habit before it becomes a way of life. It's easy for you to say, well, this must not be for me. I should quit, because you don't have the system in place, right? Give yourself time to learn a success system and then to implement it. A struggle is where you get to get your knowledge. The struggle is where you get tough. Then success comes and everybody tells everybody else. How lucky that you got, right? Like, this is a constant pursuit of better. You're constantly learning, constantly implementing, and taking action every single day. He says, everybody thinks that success is supposed to be easy. Working hard is critical, but the definition of working smart is using a system for success. A system complements my efforts, supplements my efforts, and multiplies my efforts. But if I don't put forth the best effort, there's nothing to complement, to supplement, and to multiply. So, systems. Let's talk about that really quick, and then I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for adding value and asking questions below or just saying good morning. So your morning, I want to ask you your question. Think about this. Do you get up late? Do you hit your alarm clock? Are you constantly behind? Or do you get up in enough time to where you have some time to read, to be thankful, to just sit and be before the busyness of the day? That starts your day and that starts your system. One of the most powerful books that I've ever gone through on this page and that I tell people to go through consistently is called The Miracle Morning. The book is called The Miracle Morning. The author is Hal Elrod. And it's very short. And I think it's one of the most powerful books that you can go through to help own your morning. Because if your morning isn't set up for you to win, and if you're constantly behind, if you run out the door, if you forget to grab your lunch, if you're constantly barking at your kids or your spouse, that will define and set the pace of your day. So if there's one thing that you can do to start having a better system, which will create a ripple effect in all areas of your life, is owning your morning. But I'm not a morning person. Stop that. Your words are powerful. Anybody can be a morning person. It's not a matter of being a morning person. It's a matter of your choices the night before. Did you stay up too late? Are you binge watching Netflix? Are you scrolling through social media, watching everybody else's life? Like, shut it off and go to bed so you can get up and own your morning. That is a system. And then things like, if you want to have the right mindset, a system would be, I'm reading a book. Thanks for watching the KetoMom page. I hope I can encourage you. That could be part of your system, is listening to somebody to encourage you so that your day is great. It could be journaling really quick. It could be 6 minutes of journaling or 5 minutes of journaling or writing down 3 things you're thankful for to get you in an attitude of gratitude so that your day goes well. And then the system of working out. Are your shoes ready? Do you know where your gym bag is? Like, do you have an accountability partner? There are things you put into place. These are systems. An accountability partner can be a system. A gym membership is a system. Your food. Prepping your food on Sundays can be a system. Or having your food in the refrigerator at your workplace is a system. Not going through the drive-thru because you already have your bagged lunch is a system. Creating systems to help you get your goals. Time. Having systems to have the best time so you don't waste time. So think about today, and as you go throughout your day, are you set up to win? Or have you gone through this hamster wheel over and over again and you're like, I need to recreate the system? So whatever that means to you, if you have questions, you can send me a message. You can go, all right, here's my goals. Here's where I need help. What do I need to work on? Right? And we can work on this together. If you've got specific questions, ask below. If you have things that you do that you're like, this is a great system that I do in my life, share below. This is not just about me, it's about you too. So that is the chapter. I loved it. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This is a book that I'm reading from. Super great. Thanks for tuning in. As always, your presence matters. Thanks for answering below, asking below. Message me with questions. You can always go to ketomomsecrets.com to click on recipes, to click on how to get started, to click on books. We went through the whole book called The Morning Miracle. So if you want to go through that, you can go click on Book Club and watch all of those past lives. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an incredible morning. You are very welcome, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.